Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have day 15 of the January celebration to share with you guys. So let's jump right in. So I decided I wanted to create a happy mail / one sheet wonder. So that's what I'm going to be creating. So I'm just going to cut the little strip that comes on some of the 12 by 12 paper, just telling you what it is. I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to cut my sheet in half. So you would have two pieces of 12 by 12 paper. So once cut in half, they will be 6 by 12. Mine didn't cut exactly. I found that I had a little lip. Once I cut that strip off, I don't think it was exactly 12 anymore. So I do have to just kind of alter that a touch. So mine will be like a smidge smaller than the 6 by 12, but ideally you just want two sheets that are the same size. And then for scoring, you're going to take your first sheet and you're going to score it at the 4-inch mark and the 8-inch. And then on the second sheet, we're going to do a 1/2 inch, 4.5 and 8.5. And that's going to kind of create this happy mail folio style base. And then we're going to kind of build from there. Now, if any of this doesn't make sense, please leave a comment, ask me questions. Hopefully I'm going to explain it well, but if anything is confusing, please let me know and I will try to describe it better. So then I'm just going to reinforce my score lines. So here you see I'm going to do this one first. It doesn't really matter, but you do want to fold that one in because ideally we're kind of creating the base of the folio and we're going to adhere it with that little 1/4-inch strip a little later. So I'm going to hopefully explain this well as I go along, but I was just decorating things and I wasn't really thinking them through. So this is the first panel that we scored, the one that only has the 2 score marks, the 4 and the 8. And I cut a notch on, this is going to look like it's the front panel, but it isn't actually, it's on the inside. But it does get a little bit confusing because I had no idea how this is going to go. I kind of had a basic idea and then I kind of jumped around as I decorated. So hopefully seeing it will help you understand kind of what I'm doing. But for the most part at this point, you can decorate it however you like. I chose to add some lace inside of this little tuck spot because I thought it would be really pretty. But it's not necessary. You can just have this cool tuck spot and that's perfectly fine too. You could add a notch if you wanted to. You could, there's so many things you could do here. I use a punch a little later for decoration. So it's completely up to you how you want to decorate this. But I'm just going to hopefully you guys can see it as I build it because I will kind of jump between the two and then I will adhere them and it will make a little more sense. But this is going to be the inside pocket. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but this is going to get adhered down once I've cut the lace and then that will be like an inside tuck spot. So I'm going to adhere it now. You're going to see that it is a tuck spot. So I'm working with a 12 by 12 piece of paper from Scrapboys. This is the Elizabeth paper. I think it's stunning. I have the 12 by 12 and the 8 by 8 because I thought they were so beautiful. I only use sheets from the 12 by 12 in this though. So you'll see that kind of pop in later as I start decorating everything. And then here's where I'm going to actually join them together. So you've got that 1/2 inch piece. I'm going to put some 1/4-inch tape on it. So I'm going to put 2 little strips and then I'm going to adhere that onto the front, sort of the back of the other panel. I'm sorry, you're going to see it. I'm not great at explaining it. Hopefully you can tell when we actually watch me do it, but I've added my double-sided tape here and then I'm going to remove the release paper and then we're going to stick it so that it goes around the front of the little folio. So hopefully it makes sense once you actually see me do it here. So here's the front. I'm going to adhere that onto the front of my folio. And now this is going to flip open in several different ways. So hopefully this makes sense. That's how you end up with that pocket being like kind of the first page. Now I'm working on the second folio that's now attached. I want to create this kind of really pretty punched look. I got this off of Amazon. This is the first time I've used it. I thought it was really beautiful and I wanted to use it for this paper, and it kind of looks like a doily. Now I mispunched it the first time, but that's okay. I'm going to go and fix it. Like I said, this is the first time I used it, so I was a little confused as to how to get it to punch properly. But I love the kind of scalloped edge it adds, and I think that's really pretty for this pocket because I didn't want to just go in and put another piece of lace. But at this point, you have the base, so now you can decorate it however you want to decorate it. I chose to turn these two into a pocket, so you can see I'm working on the back of the folio now, and I'm really dropsy in this video. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Not enough tea, maybe. But I do drop things on a rare occasion, and I don't know what's going on there. But so I've turned this into another kind of tuck spot that's now sideways, and this is the very back of the folio, which you'll see here in a second when I fold it back together. And then really at this point, you can do whatever you want. I choose to have that flip on the inside instead of the outside, but you could have it, wherever you want it. Now I'm going to cut down a little bit of extra paper. This is a different sheet from that same pattern paper, and I'm going to cut this down to fit into that little panel. So I believe I cut it down to 3.5 by 5 3/4, and that's going to fit beautifully on this kind of flap page over my pocket here. And then I'm going to also cut down a piece of foiled acetate. This came in a set that SpellBinders did. It's the Woodlands Tales Printed vellum and foil acetate, and I loved the look of this scripted one, and that I cut down to 3.5 by 5.5 so that it would leave me just a little bit of room at the bottom so you can see more of the pattern. And I'm actually going to put those two sheets in together. I thought that they were both stunning. I love this paper pack, but as I said, this is now all decoration. So you can, do whatever you like at this point. You have the base of the folio, so you can literally do anything. And this is another piece of the pattern paper from that same set. I bought the 12 by 12 set, like I said, and the 8 by 8 set. You wait, I have a project for the 8 by 8 set as well because it's so pretty. And I'm just going to cut around the image here. I'm going to fussy cut it. And then this fits perfectly on the back page of this folio. So again, you could create more tucks, you could create more pockets, you could create things that flip. Whatever you want to do, you've got the base structure now. You can build it however you want to build it. So completely up to you, but this is how I'm going to kind of decorate it. So I did go in with this kind of fun piece of, I guess it's like a card front kind of, and I'm going to just adhere that into the back of this flip here, right there on that kind of more plain page, because I thought it was really pretty, but you had so much selection there on that card, or that cardstock, that you easily could have selected anything. I did use my mini attacher for this because I love those little staples. I think they're adorable. But again, there's no right or wrong here, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to use my double-sided tape for the top of this. And you could easily hide something underneath this. Like this is going to be a flap. You could, put another secret pocket underneath it if you wanted to. Like there's so many fun things you can do once you have the structure to this project that you can do, almost anything. And now I will be selecting a name off of my Happy Mail list and sending this out as Happy Mail to somebody on my list. So if you're at all interested, go ahead and sign up. It's under the description of every video I have. It's just a Happy Mail list. It does ask you for your information, of course, so that I can mail something to you, but it is always kept private. It's only me who sees it, and it's only for the purpose of Happy Mail. So completely up to you. And then I cut these strips out of this kind of gold colored cardstock. I believe it's the Tim Holtz Sparkle Classics. And this is how I'm going to hide that seam that attached the two panels together. So I've just cut out the strip. It's 1/4 inch, and that's going to hide the two papers where I've adhered them together on the front so that you can't see the seam that attaches this folio. And I have to admit, this is probably one of my favorite Happy Mail folios I've ever made. I think it turned out stunning. Of course, it's the paper, but the design is really fun as well. And I went back and forth on kind of what to do. You're going to see me here change the layout of, not change it so much, just have different flaps going different places, because I decided I wanted to add a Velcro dot inside to keep it shut. I mean, right now it already doesn't really want to stay shut, and I haven't added anything into it as like fun ephemera pieces or anything, right? So I am gonna choose to put the back flap in the front. I'm sorry, I'm not great at explaining it. It will make sense when you guys see it here in a minute, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And then I added these gold strips just in a few different places throughout the folio, just to kind of tie in that little splash of gold. Otherwise, you would only have it really on the front and the acetate, and I just wanted to touch more of it because I think it's so beautiful. And of course, I do trim off the excess. And then this kind of helps hide where the seam is for where that lace is sitting in the pocket as well. And I thought that was kind of pretty. But I mean, we're pretty much, almost done decorating everything. So here's where I'm deciding that I need to add something to hold this shut. Because I know it's not going to stay that way. And now if you guys have been with my channel for any length of time, you know that I love fussy cutting things. I really enjoy it. I find it relaxing. I sit on the couch in the evening with my husband and he, watches a show or plays a video game or whatever, and I fussy cut things. That's what I do. So this is a fussy cut pad that you can purchase to go with the Elizabeth paper, and I thought it was stunning. So of course I picked it up, and these butterflies just really fit the front of this folio, I thought. So I had some butterflies and I kind of just adhered them across the front, just kind of like flying around. I love butterflies. I love florals. I love feminine papers. They do it for me. I'm so excited by them. So this folio is very, very up my alley, and I love how it turned out. I'm probably going to use a different 12 by 12 sheet to create the envelope that this will be mailed out in, because that paper is stunning. I'm actually tempted to go and buy another 12 by 12 pad of it just because I loved it so much, and I'm kind of tempted to create a few of these folios and then send them out. I probably won't have time in January, but I just loved this design, and I thought this paper really lent itself to it. So I am really happy with how it turned out. And of course I couldn't resist adding some gems. So at this point I have actually added a Velcro dot to the inside of it so that it will stay shut, because right now it kind of doesn't want to stay closed because of the thickness of the paper. So I did add that so that I could make sure that it stayed closed, and that would just give me a little bit of extra security when I add fun things inside of it for whoever receives it. So I thought that was kind of a fun way to just make sure that it stayed closed. And of course, because it's me and I can't leave well enough alone, I did need to add some little gems. The large butterfly got 5, and then the other ones got, I think the smaller butterfly might have also gotten 5, and then the really small ones got 3. Because I love butterflies. I love gems. I love sparkly things. And this is my channel, so that's what I created. But if you're not into this, that's perfectly okay. By all means, change it up. Use different imagery, use different paper. The idea is that I'm giving you a structure with some decoration ideas, and then you make it your own. You do whatever you want with it, so you turn it into anything you want it to be. This is just what I like. So this is kind of where I went. But I mean, you could make this Christmassy, you could make this more Halloweeny, more gothic-y, just change the papers, change the imagery, and there you go. You can have a completely beautiful folio that isn't, flowery and girly if that's not your thing. So completely up to you as to how you want to decorate. But I love how this turned out. So I hope that the person who receives it is as excited about it as I was making it, because I think Happy Mail is probably one of my favorite things to do. I love sending stuff out. I love showing my appreciation to you guys, supporting my dreams. So to me, this is just a really fun way for me to, give back to the people who are supporting my dreams. So, I get so excited about Happy Mail. And now this is a different 12 by 12 sheet in that same pack. And I just thought that I could have these two images together on the flap piece, so that it gives you something to open. But at this point, I have to be able to adhere whatever I'm adding around the the Velcro dot, because I have added the Velcro dot to hold the panel closed, but there's nothing really on that page for decoration, and it's a little bit plain. So you're going to see what I'm talking about here in a second. I did bring a doily out of my collection thinking that I might add that to this, but I didn't end up adding it. I didn't feel like it was needed. I think that the lace and that little punch in the back really gave it, enough interest to not need the doily. But I mean, you could absolutely add a doily. Doilies are beautiful. I always think that they're quite stunning. So I just didn't add them in this instance. But here you can't see the Velcro dot, but it's going to be in the kind of the junction between those two papers. And so I need to make sure that I don't cover that area, but I really want to add a little bit of decoration to this page. So this is kind of what I came up with just adding these 2 squares to or rectangles to it. And Ember had to come and make sure that she approved of my design. So she jumped up there and she's going to walk across my stuff several times and have things flying all over the place. I just kept going. Actually, after this, I turned the camera off and I sat back, and then she usually sleeps on my lap for a while, which I love. So I did have to get a little bit of cuddles in with her, but I did try to finish this little part first before she kind of crawled on my lap. But I can't get enough cuddles with my kittens, so I always encourage it if they show up and want some. But yeah, so I just kind of adhered these 2 on angles so that I wasn't kind of hiding that Velcro dot, but I still got a little interest in texture on this one panel that had some decoration on it. So you can see that I can still hit the Velcro dot and it still closes nicely, but that just added a touch more decoration to the actual folio. And then for one more little detail, I decided that I was going to, this is another one of those squares or rectangles in the decorative papers. And this is the same as the one I have here with the typewriter. It's just a more plain version. And I thought it would be fun as another little tuck spot, another pocket. So like I said, you could add tuck spots and pockets to every page. I didn't. I did some decorative elements and some, tuck elements. But there's so many things you could do once you have the structure. Like I said, you could have things flip out. You could have flappy bits. There's so many things you could do. So I just kind of notched it and then put it on there for another pocket so that I could add extra things in. I did kind of consider putting that other one down there, but I didn't want to hide the flowers. So I'm just probably going to stick that in with everything else and someone can use it when they get this. And then I did add my last gold glitter strip to that flap with the punched image on it. And I know I said it before, but I love how this Happy Mail folio turned out. I don't need to keep everything I make, but if I was going to keep something, this is probably one of the ones I would. It's just so up my alley how it turned out, and I think it's stunning. And it's better in person than the camera does it justice. Like it's so much prettier in person than it is in the video. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to show you up close and personal how it turned out and all the parts that go wherever they go and the little gems on the butterflies, because I think that it's stunning. So that is what I made for you guys today. I hope you're enjoying the celebration of this month. Hopefully you've seen some cool videos or learned some cool things, or maybe you just enjoyed looking at Happy Mail or whatever you're thinking. I would love to hear it. So please leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and every day in January, as you know, because we're only we're not even quite halfway there. So loads of videos yet to go, but I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you enjoying January so far? Tell me your thoughts, because it was a lot of work, so I'm hoping you guys are enjoying it as much as I am, and you're learning loads of things, and you're getting in on those giveaways, and you can join me in the next live if you want to. It's on the 23rd, and I will be giving away memberships in the live, so please come hang out if you'd like to. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Well, I guess tomorrow. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.